what you need to do when ODOT is running the job. You have to be pre-qualified in ODOT. So since we are, and SNME is not, it makes sense for us to just do the design and hire SNMEs and stuff. That way we're all good to go. So we're working on, once ODOT gives us that final scope of services document, we'll be able to put together the proposal and I'll bring it to council for discussion and review. The good news about this is, as you know, NOACA has moved the project to fiscal year 26. So we have another year yet to get everything done, which is good. And they are aware that we may be coming in back for more money, but they pay 80% of construction and construction inspection, and the village is on the hook for the design and the engineering of the contract. So this project scores really well with OPWC, since you already have it funded. So come this time next year or summertime of next year, we'll have that proposal already done and ongoing. I can apply for engineering costs to be reimbursed by OPWC to the village. So the village will have to pay it up front. And as we're designing it, OPWC will come through, will apply, and I think it'll score really well. I'm not going to guarantee you win, but projects like this in the past have scored well, so the village will get reimbursed for the design costs at minimal match. So I think that's really great for the village. So that's where we're at right now. Waiting on ODOT's scope of services so we can get the proposal over to you guys. And again, keep in the back of your head that we're going to plan on getting reimbursed for design through OPWC next year. It would be a summer application.
Any questions for Jason on the status of this?
Summer of 24.
So for OPWC, yes, it'll be summer of 24, then the funds will become available. So you will have to have paid it. Yeah, it's up. You guys will have to pay for the design of the slope failure. But by the time summer of 25 rolls around, OPWC will reimburse us.
So this is a budgetary number for 24.
And construction would be in what year?
Construction, well, hopefully it's in 25, but which is fiscal year 26 with NOACA. They're 6 months ahead. That's the plan. Will be in construction in 26. It'll be done in the summer of 26.
I just walked down that way.
I know.
It seems like it's even slowed a little bit more than the last time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, whenever you're dealing with ODOT, I mean, as Dave knows, going through the LPA process, there's a lot of, everyone's got to be pre-qualified. You got to do certain things in certain orders. They got to review and approve it. And it's a little time consuming, especially when right-of-way is involved. We're working on private property, so there's a lot of appraising needs done, and negotiating with the property owners on the rental of the property during construction. So it's time consuming. So we're hoping for. I should say we are going to be not constructing until 26.
Any other questions for Jason on that issue? After reading Jason's report this month, I penciled in here a second old business item, and that would be the old firehouse handicapped renovation work. I did that because, as he says there, June of 24 is when it needs to be spent by, which means we need to move. It's about 8-9 months off. By the time we sure know what we want to do, have them draw up the specs, bid it, the whole thing, we're getting there. And I'm going to suggest that Rick, who did some work on that, Rick and Dave and Jason take a look at that during this next month and come back in October with a recommendation for council as to how we attack that. Fair enough?
Mayor, I'd like to ask if Debbie and the solicitor can be in on that committee.
Debbie and
Debbie and
I'm sure.
there's grant money involved, and there was some. Debbie and I don't see eye to eye on the matches. But I think there's one way. We need his interpretation.
Okay.
As long as I'm not being asked to be a tiebreaker.
Interpretation on the funding, and then there is, and I'll discuss it. It's probably a discussion for the community, but there is option to get an extension on that if we need to for the funds.
Okay, so
So I'll let Debbie schedule it. And
Debbie, you try to arrange with the 5 and I would say not too far off, so that you're probably going to want to go out to there and such. I don't know if you do it all from a meeting or if you have to go out to the firehouse or not, but Anyhow, I'd like to see something for October so we could get moving on this.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll never make the June deadline. These things take time.
I agree. Okay.
Okay? Anybody else on that?
Have we received that funding?
Yes.
We-
We haven't received it.
We have received it, but it's, okay, it's earmarked for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's two different sources.
That's what you gotta determine.
Yeah, we gotta, they say you have to match our source and so does the other one, but, well, I think you can pay for it all and then say, hey, I matched it. We read it differently.
That's where you need a written attorney's opinion.
Yeah, we need his opinion on it.
All right, well, we know where you're at, Aaron, so hang in there. Okay, we'll move to new business.
Real quick, so there's
Sure,
only one-
excuse me.
are we starting the Greenwich Road sewer relining?
Okay, that was.
Oh, we might as well, yeah, do his whole report over.
Excuse me, I get your report right now.
I know.
Yeah, the only other thing I had to remind you was the line. Yeah, it's in design right now. We're planning on bidding it in October. And we'll have a large window open for contractors. They can either start it this fall yet or in spring. Giving them that big window gets a lot more people interested and gets the price down. So yes, it's on schedule. We'll bid it this fall and depending on the prices, it's either be done this fall or first thing next year.
I will skip you when it comes to your turn. New business, resolution 2023-7, a resolution to enter and retake cemetery lot grave sites. And I have a motion to suspend the rules.
So.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
How many grave sites are in
I think this is just one.
one grave site?
Just as a point of information, Mayor, this is a matter of Beverly Tybel, who's a local resident, approached the cemetery committee earlier this year about family members' grave site that individual had bequeathed verbally to Beverly, but there was no mention in the will, which would have been required to just transfer the lot to her based on Ohio property laws. So we had to institute the retaking process, which involves a 90-day notice in the paper for anybody to come forward to claim the lot. Nobody did, and so now we're going to her.
I see. Then she'll wind up with the lot that
Yeah.
way.
She's got a number of other relatives buried in the cemetery, and she wants the lot for herself. Actually, the relative deed to hers is buried somewhere else. So.
Okay, any other questions in that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Informational changes to the public notice requirements that will be on for action in October. You want to speak to that, Debbie?
What it does is Aaron might be more familiar, what it does is allows us to advertise the resolutions and ordinances that we pass on our website, whether that's putting them in the newspaper, and make it easier for the residents to find to the ones that we, so in October, so I thought we passed legislation. Really, it doesn't have anything to do with meetings or anything, it's just like the resolutions.
Any questions for Debbie or?
Mainly catching up to the times. I mean, newspapers are sometimes aren't published, they're only less times, a few times a week.
I mean, I think even up to and including the notice on the that cemetery lot, I think it's any notices that are required to be published can be published that way. So, but we'll have the specific language in resolution form in October, which is the earliest we're able to adopt that. So.
Item number 3, Brian Paculis resignation. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Dave, how long was Brian with us?
5 years.
Yeah, just over
About
5.
5 years.
Mhm.
And he went to, what was the name of that place? Fire something?
So
I think
Spray Products Incorporated, I believe
Okay,
was the name of
I
it.
had a different name now. Okay. And you having any luck on your search?
I've got a interview coming in tomorrow.
Good, good. Okay. Any questions for Dave on that?
Is this a internal search or
No, we've.
posted it?
Next one with obvious regret. Christus Life's resignation is on you, been penciled in here tonight. If I found out this afternoon, as I believe a couple of you did. Just quite simply, she's going to work in their business. And we're fortunate she'd give us a couple of months' notice. And people just don't do that. So we got some time to figure this thing out. So can I have a motion in a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Well, we get enough of those. We'll have a problem. Yeah, I know how you feel. We all do.
It's going on record.
She's done as well or better in that job than anybody has that we've had. So I haven't. Oh, Debbie's smiling now. She wasn't this afternoon.
I'm happy for her.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. So. Okay, that's all the old or new business I have. Does anybody have anything old or new? Engineers report we've had. Police report.
Police report. In August, we had 5 calls, 1 report out of that, 3 officer initiated calls. We had no crashes, although somebody ran into the stone again right before, was it the day before Labor Day? A decorative rock in front of the circle.
Yeah, heavy truck, trying to negotiate the corner or?
No, it was a stressed out person that just drove into it.
I have pictures for you, see if you want.
Yeah, the state highway patrol handled it, so all I know is one of the medics got there and she said she was just stressed out and I don't know what else happened at that point. Citizen assist, we had 15, vacation watches, a couple. Agency assist, we assisted the EMS 6 times, sheriff's office 10, civil 2, Lodi 1. Traffic stops, we had 11 with 11 warnings, no arrests out of that. And just a follow-up, a traffic stop, I think everybody knows about, occurred like several months ago. We finally got indictments. There's 8 or 9 indictments on 3 people for drugs and they were out of Mansfield. So they're gonna be arrested pretty soon because 2 of them are on parole right now, so.
Questions for the police department? Okay. Fire department, Chief Hall is not here tonight, and I didn't receive any kind of report, so.
He did email a report, but I missed it. He just did that later this afternoon, so I can send that out to everyone tomorrow.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. Mr. Pittsburgh.
Okay, August reports. Wastewater, we processed 5.45 million gallons of waste, filed all the monthly reports to go along with those. Performed all the required and operational testing, routine equipment maintenance, and we installed a new rail system for the pump station over at Virginia. Here, Village Hall just did general maintenance on the streets, did equipment maintenance, mowed all the village properties, continue on with the nuisance animal control and set up for the car show. We had 2 burials at the cemetery. At the park, we're still playing baseball. We also set it up for cricket. And in zoning, I issued 2 permits and dealt with 1 issue. That's pretty much it.
Questions for Dave?
Dave, we're doing a lot of concrete work on the north end of town.
Actually, little spots all over town. But yeah, we, everything I had budgeted now has been spent on that, so. No, it's some of the guys from the company. They bring in half a dozen teams or whatever and make a day of it.
Okay, the mayor's report, mayor's court, no activity that come through mayor's court. Communications, another letter from Mr. Cox, and a nice letter from the Leroy United Methodist Church thanking council for their donation in Mr. Bittner's name. I have no comments or concerns. Anybody have questions for me? Law Director.
Nothing, we mentioned the resolution to anticipate next month for the notice change. Nothing else that's on my radar.
Council comments and concerns, Mr. Bittner.
I have 2 things. On behalf of the Bittner family, thank you to all of you for your donation. On the car show, I think we had a good success, and we're going to have Krista set up an after action meeting probably next week or the week after, just to get a good idea. We're planning this, Craig and I were planning this anyhow, and now it's really going to be important. Just so get the right timing down, the right amount of staffing at the right hours and things like that for next year. But we're delighted from our perspective, from the standpoint to have 285 cars and just a wonderful group of people to support the village. And I think it looked like from the root beer floats to the chicken dinners to the rubbish sale and donuts and coffee for every organization went over 100%.
285, was that a record?
No, I don't believe. I think we've hit 300 before, but
It's right in there.
very
Yeah.
good for not having, if you think back, we didn't have the show for COVID. We didn't have the show because of the gazebo being damaged just a couple weeks beforehand. And then last year, we had rain successive days beforehand and couldn't put anything in the grass. So
This is the first year we've had a car show since we did a whole different park.
Yes.
That's what
And it really showed with parking the cars. Because we got a lot more people in that park and they want to be in the park. And so I came in about 8:30, I came over and the park was already half full. And the way they were parked, they lined themselves up, and I think Mrs. Bittner had a lot to do with that. They were in such a way that as it filled up, you got a max number of cars in there. And that was a real success for the day. People love that car show, not just because it's a car show. They love the venue on the grass in the park, and they love the food, as evidenced by, let's see, the Historical Society made 3,700, I was told, and the church made 53.
Well, it's a community event.
Yes.
You know, I mean, the Historical Society is part of it, the church is part of it,
fire
the
department,
fire department's part of it. I think the bank did something. So, I mean, it's definitely a community event.
Yes, it is.
What do you say, the church that sold out 600 chicken dinners?
The
Or historical?
Historical Society, 600 chicken dinners at
That's
$10 a
incredible.
piece.
Church sold off the burgers and dogs.
Yeah. They work well together. They're not, they sell different things and they both do well.
but I would be remiss if I didn't thank Dave and his,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
all of our employees that were there and did a great job and helped set up, tear down, and do everything. So thanks so much, Paul, yourself as well. Thanks for being there.
The DJ already booked for next year, already booked. So, calendars,
And I'll tell you, Bittner and Walkup are like hound dogs to be sure everybody pays.
Yes, Kevin, working.
Somebody snuck in there. There was somebody dispatched to go out and shake them down for their $10. It was fun to watch. I don't think anybody got in for free. Anything else, Terry?
That's it.
Okay, Val.
Nothing here.
Okay, Julia's not here. Strokes.
Madam Clerk, in the event I forget to mention it next month, I will be absent for the.
Okay.
Mr. Robbs.
Why you reminded me of that, because I will be absent for the October.
Okay. So,
So that's awesome, you just gave me.
well, somebody else can speak for you.
We'll get it done.
Yeah.
I tell you, I'm gonna be in Michigan.
Okay.
I'm out in November as well.
So 2 November, 1 October.
One thing I was gonna say too, Terry reminded me of it.
Val, I don't know how much Krista did with the tree lighting ceremony, you know, as far as the administrative piece of it, but, you know, based on her resignation and stuff, she won't be here when that comes around, so
That's right.
we just need to make sure,
Yeah.
don't think we're counting on somebody that's not gonna be here, so make
point.
sure you get with her and make sure you get somebody that's, you know, yeah, that's it.
Okay. Craig?
I'm good. You and Julie are.
Our next meeting is October 3rd, no executive session needed. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? See you next month.